Hey, what's up, y'all? Just wanted to go ahead and drop another video. It's been a little minute. I had people asking me about a few different methods we can use to understand, science behind our thinking and how we move forward with that helping us on a day-to-day basis as far as the things that we deal with and the things that we go through. And I'm far from dude that got all the answers with a lot of this stuff. I'm going through find my way to understand things the best that I can on a day-by-day basis, but through my studies and through what I've learned so far has helped me to be able to sustain and move forward in the best way that I know how. Today I wanted to really talk about, something that a lot of us may struggle with, which comes into doubt. Dealing with doubt and limitations, and how come we identify with that so much, and why so much doubt can cause so much turmoil within our lives and our state of mind. And doubt is something that's very real to a lot of us, and it's really a derivative of fear. So we doubt ourselves because we have some type of fear within ourselves, something that we alienate within ourselves that keeps us separate from a greater whole or going and moving towards our fullest potential. And I figure it like this. A lot of us may have the ability to see something that's not created yet, see something that the mind hasn't put out as manifestation for us to be able to take advantage of and, seek opportunity in which we create. And being able to identify with a world that's invisible, you have to really understand what makes the world visible to you in the first place. What do you see that really creates a world that you feel is as real as what it is right in front of you? And when it comes down to it, it's the basic instincts of a human being, their senses of, the dominant fives of the physical form, which is the sense of hearing, smell, touch, taste, feel, and sight, and, you go through that and you start thinking about, well, even if you look at a dream state, somebody that goes to sleep and, they're in a state of where they're in their subconscious, and really the only things that let you know that a dream may separate from where you're living in reality is based on the senses that connect you to that dream. If you were in a dream and you were able to, see as you already do, hear everything, if you were able to touch things, if you're able to taste things, if you were able to have a sense of smell, what would make that dream any different than the reality that you live right now? What would separate it? What would make it something that is less real in any way? So, that's what we have to understand, is the things that we end up putting out there and creating, how real is it? A lot of times we want to identify with things that are so real to us because it gives us purpose, whether it's trauma or, some type of catastrophe, something that's a tragedy. It gives us a sense of purpose. So we identify with that because now we have something that we are. We have some type of value, some type of worth because of that. And that's what we use to tell ourselves. When we go ahead and even think about how we first came into this world, it's traumatic right from the start. Most of us came into this world where we're slapped, screaming, cut right from the beginning before we're embraced. And we have a very traumatic circumstance with just entering this planet right from the beginning. So there's a sense of trauma that's created from your first moments being here. So trauma is something that's almost automatic to the human experience. And then from that time, what do? You end up spending, your lifetime fighting disbelief, fighting against doubt, fighting against fear, whether, you're learning to ride a bike or you're going to try to get your first job. Even speaking in front of, an audience or, reading out loud in a classroom. Everything you're fighting some form of fear because your very first incidents, your first moments here, you're scared. So you carry fear all throughout your lifetime. And some of us begin to find better ways to conquer that, and we learn how to adapt, and we learn to evolve. And there's others that can't separate really how real is this fear and how much of it might be self-perpetuated and orchestrated. Now, within how we live, it makes it difficult because we are within a system that perpetuates this fear to a certain degree on a social level. And then we have the weapon of mass destruction that's created, which is stronger than any social system that's been constructed. And that's what we tell ourselves. That's what's inside us. The fear that's being pumped, that chemical that's continuously going to the brain and setting those messages of disbelief and doubt. That's the real weapon, because that's the weapon that's within us that we continuously tell ourselves. And all the social setting does is go ahead and reassures that. They go ahead and back those feelings that they know. It set up that you already look all around you, and they make sure to create a smokescreen of different levels that are going to keep you subjugated, where you may feel like you're never good looking enough, you're never healthy enough, you're never strong enough, you're never smart enough. There's always an advertisement on how to do something better because you're born and you live by a code that continuously lets you know that you're flawed. So there's always some way to better yourself, because the first thing they want you to know is that you're flawed. But it's not about so much a they. It really comes back down to what do you know and what do you believe. Now, this comes down to a very innate set of questions you should ask yourself, which is important. And it's who do you listen to? And what do you know about yourself? And who do you listen to is very important, because that comes down to a state of critical thinking, where just anyone that has something to speak about, and anybody that's in an authority position that has something to say, doesn't always mean that they have a message that's warranted best for your best interest. And that's something to keep in mind. And another thing you want to keep in mind is, the company that you keep. Like they say, misery loves company. So we identify with those that are reflections of ourselves. Because in like a past video that I had done, I said reality is a mirror of itself, and that's what it does. We mirror the exact energy that we put out. So if we have something from our own brain that's going out with subatomic force, or that energy that's leaving from us and going out into the world, so someone that magnetizes to that's going to automatically attract that same like mind, that same visionary, that same person is going to be a reflection of your life, of where you're at, of what you think and who you are, because that's all it does. And what you have to understand is you're the ruler, and you're also the star of your own show. If this was a Broadway play, you would be the main character. All the cast is just supporting characters. It's just background noise. But it's all about you. You're the main character of this show. When the lights go off, when you turn off the hearing, when you turn off the sight, when you turn off the taste, the touch, the smell, when you turn all that off, there's nothing out there. Nothing exists. How would you know? You have no way to identify with. But the one thing that will still exist is your consciousness. And the only thing that your consciousness can identify with is self. Nothing on the outside, nothing externally. Only internal is the only thing that the consciousness can validate as a for sure living, breathing entity of existence. That's the only thing that it can go ahead and solidify as existing is yourself. So the most important part of the puzzle is to identify with who you are and what you are capable of, and not any of the programming that has been perpetuated to subjugate you into many different categories of false entitles and to leave you boxed in. So it becomes very hard, and it's easier said than done, to be able to slowly peel back the layers of conditioning and indoctrination through the human experience. But being able to identify where you stand in a lot of this can go ahead and solidify decisions for you to be able to move forward. So that's really what I have to say about, the doubt part of it. I could go in a little bit deeper, and I'll probably end up making another video, a part 2 that goes in more on some of the energy levels and the vibrations, and being able to talk about wavelengths and how that affects someone on an internal level, on why they may not move forward on certain things that they have the ability to. But just leave with that message that you are the star of your show. You can create whatever you want. You have the ability to be able to do that. The one thing that has to be known is just for you to believe it. That's it. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment, open dialogue, discussion, whatever you guys think. There's probably stuff that I can learn from many of you guys that I might have not touched on, but always like being able to go ahead and drop a little video when I can. All right. Thanks for listening. Peace.
Time to lift your soldier weight, feeling like a black czar. Black vultures, black cobras, Kevin's back, time's over. Body healed, spit that antidote, mind sober. Look at what they went and made. Hibernation out the cave, lost empire ruled. Canaanite, son of shame, son of man, run with sham. Curse of Ham, here I am. Black Israelite, sole controller of my chosen land. Economics building up, the size is no giving in. Vaccination to our sickness, leaking out this poison pen.